Capricorn, have you ever walked into a room full of people and immediately felt like your soul was shrinking? Not because you're shy, not because you're cold, but because something in your spirit whispered, "This is not my place." There is a sacred reason why your circle has always been small. There's a deeper truth behind why you feel more alive in solitude than in crowds. Why the noise of too many people feels less like connection and more like energetic chaos. And it's not a flaw. It's a sign. A sign that your soul was never built for the crowd, it was chosen for the climb. Because Capricorn, you are not here to belong. You are here to build, to protect, to ascend. And most people simply can't breathe at the altitude you were meant to live on. They call you distant, too quiet, too serious. But what they don't understand is that your silence is a sanctuary, that your withdrawal is wisdom, that your need to be alone is not rejection, it's preservation. Think about it. The most powerful, focused, and spiritually resilient people you know, are they ever surrounded by dozens? Or are they the ones who walk the quiet path, mastering their destiny in shadows? Capricorn, your spiritual truth is this. The fewer people you keep around, the clearer your purpose becomes. And today, I'm going to reveal exactly why that is. You're about to uncover 10 deep spiritual reasons why your energy cannot and should not be scattered across too many souls. Some of these reasons will confirm what you've always felt. Others will awaken something you didn't even realize was asleep within you. But I'll warn you now. One of them will either leave you completely indifferent or completely transformed. So, don't click away. Because once you hear the full truth, you may never look at your relationships the same way again. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, are you a January Capricorn or a December Capricorn? And have you always felt like your energy changes depending on who's around you? I read every comment because your story matters. Now, let's begin with the first spiritual truth. Reason number 1, energy is currency and Capricorn protects it like gold. Capricorn doesn't waste energy. To others, it might look like they're reserved, distant, or even uninterested. But in truth, every move they make is a calculation of cost, not in dollars, but in something far more valuable, energy. Energy, for Capricorn, is not just something you give freely. It is a spiritual currency. And like any wise investor, Capricorn is deeply intentional with how it is spent. They've learned, often the hard way, that spending energy on the wrong people is more draining than any overtime shift, and more damaging than any financial debt. Because when your energy is gone, your vision blurs, your discipline cracks, and your soul begins to burn out in silence. Imagine this. A Capricorn woman in her mid-30s. She's been working tirelessly on her own business. She doesn't party, doesn't go out much, and chooses silence over small talk. People call her boring. They whisper that she's too serious or not fun anymore. But while they're burning through their time in places that drain them, she's building something in secret. 3 years later, she owns a thriving brand. She didn't need everyone, she just needed space. Capricorn knows that not all interactions are harmless. A single hour with someone who talks too much, complains too much, or gossips too much can steal an entire day of mental peace. Even worse, it can plant seeds of doubt in their vision, shake their focus, or derail their emotional stability. That's why many Capricorns seem to disappear or go silent. They're not running away, they're refueling. They are conserving what matters most, their ability to move forward with clarity, discipline, and inner strength. They understand what many others ignore. Every conversation you allow is an energetic exchange. Every person you welcome into your space is either a deposit or a withdrawal. And Capricorn is not here to go bankrupt. They are here to build, to rise, to create. And to do that, they need full ownership over their energy, their attention, and their emotional field. This is why they avoid unnecessary gatherings. Why they decline invitations. Why they often feel better alone than surrounded by 10 people who don't understand their soul. It's not arrogance. It's spiritual economy. Because Capricorn knows. If you don't guard your energy, someone else will spend it for you. And they're not willing to take that risk. Life lesson. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is sacred self-respect. Your time, your focus, your emotions, these are the ingredients of your future. And just like money, if you waste them on things that don't matter, you'll have nothing left when the real moment arrives. Reason number 2, sacred selectivity, why Capricorn chooses few over many. Capricorn doesn't trust easily. And this isn't because they were born skeptical, it's because life taught them the price of trusting the wrong people. Every Capricorn carries with them a quiet wisdom. Not everyone who smiles at you is safe. Not everyone who wants to be near you deserves a seat at your table. And not every connection is meant to be pursued. They've learned this not from books, but from experience. From betrayals that were dressed as friendships. From co-workers who smiled in meetings but whispered behind closed doors. From lovers who promised forever but couldn't even keep a Tuesday. Over time, Capricorn developed what many mistake as walls. But those are not walls, they are filters. They are spiritual sieves designed to keep out what dilutes their clarity, their mission, and their peace. And what gets through? Only the rare few. Those who move with integrity. Those who speak with truth. Those who respect time, silence, and effort, not just results. Capricorn doesn't build a circle. They curate one. Picture a Capricorn man in his late 40s. He's successful, respected, and admired. But if you asked him who his closest people are, he could name them on one hand. He doesn't chase crowds. He doesn't attend every gathering. Instead, he meets one friend for coffee every 2 weeks. They talk business, life, and faith deeply, honestly. That one conversation gives him more value than 10 social events combined. This is how Capricorn operates. Their selectiveness is spiritual strategy. It is the wisdom of knowing that every person you allow near your soul shapes your path, whether you notice it or not. Too many people bring too many perspectives. Too many perspectives create noise. And noise makes it harder to hear your own intuition. Capricorn doesn't need to explain this to others. They're not seeking validation for their solitude. They are seeking alignment. And if someone doesn't understand that, they were never meant to be in the circle to begin with. Life lesson. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to live in truth with a few. Don't apologize for being selective. Sacred things are always rare. So is your peace. So is your mission. So are the ones who truly deserve to walk beside you. Reason number 3. Drama is a spiritual blocker, and Capricorn refuses to let it in. Capricorn was not born for chaos. They were born to build order in the middle of it. And nothing disrupts that order faster than drama. Loud voices. Gossiping whispers. Passive-aggressive comments. Emotional explosions over small things. That's not just noise to Capricorn, that's pollution. Drama, to Capricorn, is not entertainment. It is a distraction. It clouds the air, poisons the atmosphere, and threatens everything they're trying to protect inside. Imagine this. A Capricorn woman just got promoted to a leadership position. She's organized, respected, and always the first to arrive and the last to complain. But within a month, she notices something: a group of co-workers constantly fighting, gossiping, forming alliances. They try to pull her in. They want her opinion, her loyalty, her reactions. But she knows better. She stays quiet, firm, detached. Eventually, they call her cold. But a few months later, every single one of them is gone. She remains stable, clear, unshaken. This is not luck. This is Capricorn wisdom. Because Capricorn knows that drama doesn't just waste time, it wastes power. Every moment spent in an argument that solves nothing. Every hour listening to someone complain about a problem they refuse to fix. Every second spent reacting emotionally to manipulation or chaos is a moment stolen from your destiny. Capricorn refuses to lose their life to emotional noise. They've learned to read the room and leave the room. They've learned to observe, not absorb. They've learned that sometimes, silence is not avoidance, it's protection. And it's not that Capricorn is incapable of confronting things. Quite the opposite. When necessary, they can cut deeper with a single sentence than others can with a shouting match. But they choose their battles with precision. Because not every conflict is worth the cost. They know that while others are busy trying to win petty wars, they're building a legacy in silence. Life lesson. Peace is not passive. Peace is power. Don't let others trick you into thinking your refusal to participate in drama means you're weak. It means you're focused. Let others chase attention. You chase alignment. And in time, it will become clear you didn't lose anything by walking away. You saved everything that matters. Reason number 4, silence is focus, and Capricorn needs it to breathe. Some people find silence uncomfortable. Capricorn finds it sacred. In a world that worships noise, Capricorn honors the stillness. Because inside that stillness, they hear what others miss. Their inner compass. Capricorn is not easily distracted, but they are easily drained. Not by work, not by solitude, but by meaningless motion. Conversations with no purpose. Social events with no soul. Interactions that echo with emptiness. Capricorn doesn't need silence because they're antisocial. They need it because silence is where their focus sharpens. Focus, to Capricorn, is not a luxury, it's survival. Their dreams are not casual. Their goals are not temporary. They don't play life on easy mode. They are building something that requires precision. Every thought matters. Every choice is a brick in the future they are crafting. Picture a Capricorn man in his late 20s. He's writing a novel. Not for fame, but because he knows the story has lived inside him for years. He turns down parties. He misses birthdays. People question his loyalty. But a year later, that novel touches lives he'll never even meet. And the silence that others feared, it was his sanctuary. It was where the story grew wings. Capricorn understands something the world tries to ignore. You cannot create clarity in the middle of chaos. And focus is not something you find, it's something you protect. Like a flame in the wind. Like a child in the storm. That's why they protect their silence. It's not emptiness. It's space for purpose to take root. Even when surrounded by others, Capricorn carves out their own mental space. Sometimes through a long walk. Sometimes through a quiet room with no screens. Sometimes by simply saying, "Not tonight," and choosing solitude. To others, it may seem cold. But Capricorn knows. If you don't protect your focus, the world will steal it with 1,000 distractions dressed as invitations. Life lesson. Focus isn't given. It's earned through discipline, boundaries, and silence. Don't apologize for needing space. That space is where your next breakthrough is born. And remember, while others drown in the noise, you are climbing in the quiet. Reason number 5. Privacy protects prophecy. Capricorn keeps silent because their destiny speaks louder. Capricorn doesn't reveal much. Not because they don't have anything to say, but because what they're carrying is too sacred for casual conversation. In a world obsessed with oversharing, Capricorn moves the opposite way, inward. They understand something most people forget. Not everyone deserves front row seats to your becoming. Not every moment should be posted. And not every dream should be spoken before it's solid. To Capricorn, privacy is power. It's the invisible wall that keeps their vision safe from premature judgment, envy, and interference. Because they know when you speak too soon, you invite energies that don't belong. Imagine this. A Capricorn artist is quietly working on a new series. She doesn't post about it. She doesn't tell her friends. She disappears for a while. And when she returns, the gallery is sold out. People ask, "Why didn't you tell anyone?" She smiles, "Because it wasn't ready to be seen. And I wasn't ready to defend it." Capricorn doesn't hide because of fear. They hide because of protection. Not everyone clapping is genuine. Not everyone listening is cheering. Some are collecting data to compete. Others are waiting for signs of weakness to critique. Capricorn learned long ago that visibility is not always a gift. Sometimes, it's a trap. They prefer to be underestimated. They prefer to be quiet until the work is undeniable. Because when it's time, their results speak so loudly that explanations become irrelevant. And beyond career or achievement, privacy is their emotional shield. Capricorn doesn't share every heartbreak, every setback, every painful night, because they know that once spoken aloud, those wounds become vulnerable to misinterpretation or manipulation. Instead, they heal in silence. They reflect in silence. And when the healing is done, they emerge not bitter, but wiser. Life lesson. You don't owe the world your process. You only owe yourself your truth. Let your silence be your sanctuary. Let your privacy be your protection. Because some of your greatest work, both in life and within, must be built in the dark before it can shine in the light. Reason number 6. Trust is a spiritual contract, and Capricorn doesn't sign it lightly. Capricorn doesn't trust easily. And that's not because they're bitter. It's because they know what it costs to repair a soul once it's been betrayed. To many people, trust is casual. A handshake, a warm smile, a shared secret after one deep conversation. But to Capricorn, trust is sacred, a contract between energies. And once broken, it doesn't just hurt, it rewires how they see the world. They've seen what happens when the wrong person is allowed too close. They've watched dreams get derailed because someone they trusted planted seeds of doubt. They've watched their own intuition get questioned because someone they loved gaslighted their truth. And most of all, they've watched themselves give and give, only to be met with silence, betrayal, or manipulation. That's why, now, they observe before they open. They watch how someone treats others, how they react when the room is silent, how they speak when no one's watching. To Capricorn, words mean very little without behavior to match. Picture a Capricorn man in his 30s. He meets someone charismatic, magnetic, full of charm. Everyone else is drawn in quickly, but he stays quiet. He listens more than he speaks. 3 months later, that same person is exposed for lying, manipulating, or playing sides. The others are shocked. He is not. Because Capricorn wasn't evaluating the surface, he was reading the pattern. Capricorn doesn't need hundreds of friends. They need 1 or 2 loyal souls who mean what they say and show up when it matters. And when they do trust, they trust deeply. They offer a level of loyalty, consistency, and emotional protection that's rare. They will defend you in rooms you're not in. They will keep your secrets like sacred texts. They will pour their time and effort into supporting you, quietly, faithfully, without fanfare. But if that trust is broken, don't expect the same door to open again. Capricorn may forgive eventually, but they never forget what made them close the gate. Because in their world, trust is not a mood. It's a bond. And once you break it, something inside them recalibrates. Not with hate, but with distance. Permanent distance. Life lesson. Trust is not about who makes you feel good in the moment. It's about who shows up when it's inconvenient. Don't hand out access to your soul based on charm or charisma. Watch the patterns. Trust slowly. And once you find someone worthy, honor that bond like the sacred contract it is. Reason number 7. Depth over quantity. Why Capricorn chooses to bond, not just belong. Capricorn isn't interested in being liked by everyone. They're interested in being understood by a few. While many chase numbers, followers, friends, fans, Capricorn chases meaning. They would rather sit in silence with one soul who sees them clearly than stand in a crowd full of people who only know their surface. To Capricorn, relationships aren't trophies. They are sacred investments. And like any wise investor, they put their energy where it will grow, not just where it looks good. They've seen what shallow connections lead to. Superficial validation. Empty conversations. People who disappear at the first sign of struggle. Capricorn isn't built for surface-level interactions. They crave the kind of connection where masks come off, where conversations go beyond how are you, into who are you beneath everything the world made you become. Picture a Capricorn woman in her early 40s. She's been through loss, change, reinvention. At this point in life, she's let go of many people, not out of anger, but clarity. Now, her circle is small. One friend she speaks with every Sunday morning. Another she hasn't seen in months but would fly across the country for in a heartbeat. And that's enough. Because when depth is present, quantity becomes irrelevant. Capricorn doesn't just want to be around people. They want to feel safe, seen, known. And in large groups, that feeling evaporates. It's not that they're antisocial. They're anti-superficial. They don't mind going deep. They mind staying shallow. This is why they often walk away from circles that once felt comfortable. Not because those people changed, but because Capricorn did. And their soul began demanding more than small talk, gossip, or praise. It began calling for truth, for shared growth, for presence, the kind that doesn't need constant words to feel real. Life lesson. You weren't made to collect people. You were made to connect with them, soul to soul. Let go of the need to be everywhere, with everyone. The right ones will meet you in the depths. And in those depths, you'll find the safety and strength that the surface could never offer. Reason number 8. Avoiding emotional burnout. Why Capricorn needs space to stay strong. Capricorn is strong, but not invincible. They carry more than most. They solve problems, hold space for others, keep the ship moving, often in silence. But even the strongest souls need rest. And Capricorn knows this better than anyone. Emotional burnout doesn't always come from trauma. Sometimes, it comes from too much access. Too many people. Too many conversations. Too many emotional demands without any time to breathe between them. Capricorn often becomes the go-to person in people's lives. The one who listens. The one who gives practical advice. The one who seems like they always have it together. But behind that calm exterior, they're human. And when too many people pull on their emotional reserves, Capricorn feels it, not always in loud ways, but in subtle ones. Fatigue that no sleep can fix. Irritation that comes out of nowhere. Disconnection from their own needs, because they've been so busy holding space for others. Imagine a Capricorn man in his 50s. He's the rock of the family. The silent provider. Everyone leans on him, siblings, parents, friends. But over time, something shifts. He starts feeling numb, detached. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's poured from his cup for so long, and no one noticed it was empty. This is what Capricorn learns the hard way. Being dependable doesn't mean being endlessly available. Being loving doesn't mean being accessible to everyone at all times. They begin to understand that saying no isn't cruelty, it's clarity. That stepping away doesn't mean abandoning others, it means choosing to preserve the part of themselves that others depend on in the first place. They start choosing rest over performance, boundaries over burnout, quiet over constant giving, and most importantly, they learn that they cannot carry others forever if they forget how to carry themselves. Life lesson. You are allowed to retreat. You are allowed to unplug, to rest, to choose yourself. Because emotional strength isn't about saying yes to everyone, it's about knowing when to say yes to your soul. Capricorn, your stillness is not laziness. It's repair. And only by honoring that space can you continue rising with the wisdom and clarity the world needs from you. Reason number 9. Purpose over popularity. Capricorn isn't here to please crowds, they're here to fulfill destiny. Capricorn doesn't crave attention. They crave alignment. While the world races toward visibility, Capricorn walks quietly toward impact. They are not driven by likes, applause, or applause. They are driven by a calling. Their mission was never to fit in. It was to build what others are too distracted to even imagine. From an early age, Capricorn feels it, the pull to do things differently. To say no when others say yes. To walk away from what's trending, and toward what's timeless. And though they may not always understand it at first, there's a deeper knowing in them. I wasn't made for the crowd. That inner voice never seeks popularity, it seeks purpose. And purpose often requires solitude. It requires sacrifice. It requires being misunderstood. Picture a Capricorn woman in her early 30s. She was once the life of the party, invited everywhere, admired by everyone. But something shifted. She started questioning the conversations, the circles, the noise. Started craving stillness, truth, direction. Eventually, she left the constant social swirl. She poured her energy into building her own practice, writing her own story, creating something real. And though the parties grew silent, her soul began to sing. Capricorn understands something many don't. Popularity is often a distraction wrapped in praise. It makes you chase approval. It makes you adjust your vision to fit the crowd. And slowly, you lose your direction, all while thinking you're being celebrated. That's why Capricorn steps back. Not because they're afraid of the spotlight, but because they refuse to let it blind them. They choose depth over attention, progress over performance. And even when no one is watching, they are still moving slowly, wisely, toward something that matters. Because their goal isn't to be known. It's to be true. To their values. To their craft. To their soul. Life lesson. Chasing the crowd may bring applause, but walking your path brings peace. Don't confuse popularity with purpose. The world doesn't need another star, it needs a light that doesn't flicker when the crowd turns away. Capricorn, your quiet consistency is louder than any performance. Stay with your mission. It will carry you further than approval ever could. Reason number 10, not everyone understands the vision, and that's exactly why Capricorn protects it. Capricorn doesn't need everyone to agree with them. They don't need the world to understand their plans, their pace, or their silence. Because deep inside, they know. Not everyone is meant to see what they see. Capricorn carries a vision that was not born from trends or external validation. It was born from struggle. From years of doing what no one saw. From nights spent building while others slept. From choosing the hard road when the easy one screamed louder. Their goals aren't random. Their ambition isn't shallow. Everything they pursue is rooted in meaning, in legacy, in something that transcends the present moment. But not everyone gets that. People ask, why are you so serious? Why don't you relax more? Why are you always working? They don't realize that Capricorn isn't working just for money. They're working to fulfill a spiritual assignment. And when they try to explain it, they're often met with blank stares or subtle doubt. So over time, they stop explaining. They start protecting. Because Capricorn understands this truth. The more you try to make others understand your vision, the more diluted it becomes. Imagine a Capricorn entrepreneur in her late 30s. She left a stable job to build a company that supports single mothers. Everyone questioned her. Family, friends, even her partner. She stayed silent. Worked quietly. Years later, her foundation feeds thousands. And suddenly, the silence makes sense. That's Capricorn energy. They don't need to be loud. Their results speak for them. Capricorn knows their vision is not for everyone. Some will mock it. Others will misunderstand it. A few may try to sabotage it. But that doesn't stop them, it sharpens them. Because their loyalty is not to being understood. It's to becoming who they were always meant to be. Life lesson. Stop trying to explain your destiny to people who weren't assigned to walk it with you. Your path is sacred. Your vision is protected. You don't need a cheering squad, you need alignment. And Capricorn, when you honor your vision without apology, you become unstoppable. Conclusion, you were never meant for the crowd. You were chosen for the climb. Capricorn, if you've made it this far, then something in your soul already knew. You were never meant to belong everywhere. You were meant to belong deeply to the right path, the right people, the right purpose. Now you know why. You protect your energy because it builds your future. You choose your circle because your peace depends on it. You avoid drama because your spirit is focused. You embrace silence because it sharpens your vision. You guard your privacy because your purpose is sacred. You trust with caution because your loyalty is rare. You seek depth because shallow waters have nothing for you. You step back from noise because you refuse to burn out for others. You choose purpose over popularity because legacy matters more than applause. And most of all, you protect your vision because you were not meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be guided, not validated. The truth is, Capricorn, you're not too serious. You're not too distant. You're not too intense. You're tuned in to a deeper call, tuned in to something eternal. And only a few will ever hear what you hear, let alone walk where you walk. So stop apologizing for needing fewer people. Start honoring the strength it takes to choose solitude when noise is easier. Because your silence is not weakness. It's your weapon. And your clarity is not cold. It's your compass. Here's your life lesson. The most powerful souls do not rise with crowds. They rise alone. Not because they're better, but because they were chosen to lead, to build, to see what others cannot. And to do that, they must walk alone long before anyone understands why. So walk tall, Capricorn. In your silence. In your strength. In your solitude. Because the climb you're on was never meant for the many. It was always meant for you. If this message spoke to your soul, subscribe now. Not for me, but for you. Because this channel was created for the rare ones. The deep ones. The quiet warriors. The Capricorns who walk alone not because they're lost, but because they're becoming something the world has never seen before. You are not broken. You are becoming. And we're just getting started. This space was created for souls like yours. Not for the loud, not for the many, but for the quiet builders, the spiritual climbers, the ones who carry legacies in silence. On this channel, we don't chase noise. We reveal truth. We honor the sacred journey you walk alone, but never without purpose. So if you felt seen, if you finally understood why you've always felt different, then this isn't just a video. This is your confirmation. Subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed. Because the path ahead is steep and you deserve guidance built for the mountain soul. You've walked alone long enough. Now walk with clarity,